Hello everyone, I am going to do this reaction as somebody who has written and read a lot of fanfiction in the past. I can't show my face because anytime I show my face, YouTube decides, oh, this is a kid or this is like a disabled person, because I can share my voice which sounds like a kid. So they'll block all the comments, they'll shut down the comments. So unfortunately I just have to rely on my vocal commentary, but I'll do my best to give as much commentary as possible throughout, reacting to this video. Thanks. Alright, right off the bat, they're saying here, 14-year-old me is selecting a fanfic with a tag I've never seen before. I never paid too much attention to tags, obviously, throughout the time I've read and written fan fiction, from 2007 to I don't know, 2016 or something, on and off. And when I read fan fiction, I didn't pay too much attention about tags. I had my preferences, but if the summary was good, I could probably overlook, whatever tags it technically had, and at least give it a shot. But let's see, what she says. I would be curious. Water sports? Learning water sports doesn't mean I'm confused too. What does water sports mean? Yeah, sorry for, obviously it's TikTok, it's gonna have wonky volume levels. Hope the volume's okay. When chapter 1 of an amazing fanfic ends on a cliffhanger, but there is 29 chapters to go and it's already 3. Yeah, you're probably gonna read that, at least some of that, man. I have become more responsible about, making sure to go to sleep at a somewhat reasonable time, but I still, I'm in college, so I still had that fever to stay up till 2 a.m. But yeah, when you're writing, you want to give those cliffhangers to keep people engaged. So good on the fanfic writer for clearly keeping people engaged.
I've got school. No, I'm not laughing. I've got school.
I got school. And if you are a responsible kid, you go to sleep because you got school, good on you, but it is hard. School sucks. But you'd also be in that situation, you had work. She says, I've never read a fanfiction with this tag before, but the summary is good, so I'll check it out. Yeah, that's pretty much how I read fanfic. Finishing the fanfic with something awakened in me. Yeah, I've had that experience, especially with lemons, and yeah, I've had that experience. But yeah, we authors, we try to if we come across something and we've had something floating around in our own lives, and we want to write about it, and part of the fun of writing is sharing kind of what we have come across ourselves in books and life, sharing that with other people. So that's the beauty of writing, baby. Whenever I search something on AO3 and there's 3 results total, that sucks, man. I mean, writing is a huge commitment, so it is hard to write something good to add to that search result. So I'm sorry, but if your ship is unpopular, the show's unpopular, whatever, yeah, this is a real problem. Not a real problem, just a relatable one. It sucks, but hopefully the 3 you find are good.
And do you support black?
Emma, have you read fanfiction?
Yeah.
Do you support LGBT?
What fan? Yeah, especially because there's all the controversy these days about oh, these are kids in this relationship when they're 16, 17. I'll just say, man, not saying it was the best thing ever, but I did grow up in a place that had, like, you know, teen pregnancies and shit. So, like, to me, it didn't hit me that it was, like, questionable until, you know, people pointed it out. And even then, I was like, but I've seen, you know, relationships in high school, like, go all the way. Like, again, not that it's a great thing, but, like, yeah, you know, like, but, I mean, it could also be this person doesn't like whatever fandoms, just, you know, out of, like, I don't like the show or whatever, so there's that too. When reading fan fiction, but the positions just aren't humanly possible. Yeah, like, sometimes writers are just, like, not, you know, writing it well, or, like, you know, they're not writing what they're imagining in their mind well, or, like, they do have some weird idea of how anatomy should work, and they're, like, exposing that, and it's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, maybe you're super flexible and can pull that off, but, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I should pause after the TikTok
People
and
read fanfiction, specifically YN fanfiction. I don't read a lot of it, but when I do, I say YN. I don't put my name. It's not like Grace does this, right? But YN.
Yeah, I don't put my name either. I said I wouldn't pause, but I don't put my name either. You know, like, maybe it's a self-esteem thing, but, you know, I just don't put my name in those fan fictions.
It's like a player who is representing me. Like,
yeah.
Literally the word YN. Like, that's their name. Spelled like WHYN. Yeah. But I don't put Grace. I just say YN. Am I making sense?
Same.
I know a lot of people just put their name in there. But I can't. I'm like, YN is the player who is me, but their name is YN.
Yeah.
Does this make sense? Am I making any
Yeah,
sense?
same.
I feel like I can't be the only one to do it. Like, I have trouble actually being like Grace. But YN is me, so it's fine. Like, it's fine that it's not my name, but it's... Let me relax.
It's like, it's just not our story, so it feels weird to put our names in it. Me writing extremely self-indulgent, self-insert fanfiction, I never did that, I don't think. And one-shots that will never see the light of day. I always had to write things that I put out in public, man. Self-serving stuff. Nah, man. If anything, you know, like, think that out in my head. Like, if I'm gonna write something, go through all the trouble of following all the rules of writing and all that, it's gonna be to show people. And half my fanfiction is like dog shit filled with horrible grammar errors and shit like that. But, like, you know, ultimately, I'm writing shit to share shit. So, yeah. Anyway, just so I can read it in the middle of the night whenever I want to blush and giggle. I have my imagination for that while I read it like a girl, as if I'm not the one who wrote it. I mean, you know, if, like, that could work if you have, like, bad short-term or long-term memory, and you can kind of, or you can just put yourself in the headspace of, oh, I didn't write this, I'm rediscovering this, you know, like, that could work, but no. I can't relate to this. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there are people out there who like writing just to be able to, you know, just as kind of a self thing. Like, people have journals and things like that, and, you know, they write their own stories and poems. They don't want other people to necessarily read it, so understandable. I'm sorry if me thinking a lot and pausing a lot bothers you, but I also know people complain when people just sit here and don't say anything when reacting, so I'm trying to find a balance. So let me know what works and what doesn't in this type of reaction. But this one says, I hereby sentence you to dress exclusively like YN for the rest of your life. Yeah. So hard. Could be fun if you just take a random fanfiction and it describes what YN is wearing and you have to wear that. Like, each day it's a new fanfiction or one shot or whatever, and you have to wear, like, whatever they're wearing. and a lot of it could be like emo punk or just like rebellious shit, and that may or may not be your character, or you're having to go to work looking like, you know, a total punk. Like, that could be fun. Or hard, you know. Don't want to get fired for looking, you know, too gothic or whatever. Thinking like My Immortal-esque fanfic there, but it's been a while since I've read a lot of fanfic, so I'm not totally up to date with, like, you know, the current market. But this one says, nothing makes me feel more powerful than knowing I am one or two people who write a certain ship on AO3. I just feel camaraderie in that case. I am three of the others, but I am alone now. Oh no. Two of my friends having a perfectly normal conversation. The urge to tell them the plot of the fanfic I read. Yes. Like, if you're wanting to share like a fanfic you wrote or a fanfic you read, like, that's the sign of a good fanfic that gets the reader excited. And yeah. When you get halfway through a fanfic and realize it was improperly yeah, like, maybe, you know, some writers will come up with weird excuses of like, oh, it's hurt comfort because, like, I don't know, he got an injury, and, you know, she said a word of encouragement in the whole fanfic, but the rest of it is like super hardcore action, and like, or that, you know, they'll add the tag to like bring, you know, widen the net that they cast to like get people to read their shit. Like, so yeah, not great, but I know where it comes from. I've just wait, what is it? What? There was a little plot. I've just been a witness for something sick and sadistic. So twist. Oh, okay. Probably the rap going on.
Twistedly disgusting. You should feel real lucky you missed it.
Yeah. That's the rap that they just typed out the rap they were listening to. I'll turn anything into an AU. Same. That's the that's the fanfic I would usually write as AU. I don't care. That's all my brain is ever thinking about. Yeah, same. Like for a while in my life, like in middle school, all my brain was like thinking about was like different AUs for like Satch Bell at the time. But yeah, like they say, I want to see my favorite characters in the universe that is so alternate to their own. Like, it didn't have to be that alternate in my mind. It just was like alternate plots that may or may not have completely worked with the established, you know, universe in my case. But I could get definitely, you know, the want to put like I don't know, My Hero Academia or Vinland Saga characters in a coffee shop, or, you know, something so, you know, contradictory. I love urban fiction. I love, you know, I like almost need, you know, stories that take place in the city, you know, like I feel like it's an autistic thing because I have autism. I feel like I just, like, that's my comfort zone, and like fantasy and stuff that takes place like outside of that or in the country is just like harder to like sell, harder to get into. But yeah, like city shit all the way, school shit, you know, in normal high schools. Like, I don't necessarily watch my anime for, or read stories for escapism per se. I read it to like have another channel to connect with like the reality I'm living in, but like explore different stories that aren't taking place. Like fun shit, but in the area that I'm living in. Like, fantasy can be okay if the plot is actually interesting, but if it's just kind of like whatever isekai type thing, yeah, no, I personally don't like it. But AUs are nice, but what about an Irish dance AU? Yeah, you know, like, again, if this person likes, you know, like Irish dancing and they want to write something about that, and, you know, an Aldi AU, like, yeah, if you've gone to Aldi, you want to see your characters, you know, duke it out in Aldi or something, They said, I was thinking about how much I enjoyed the sacrament of confession earlier, and my immediate next thought was 7 sacraments AU win? Yeah, and my brain is rotted. Actually, the 7th sacrament AUs, I'm kidding here, but that's how Full Metal Alchemist started. Like, no, that's 7 deadly sins. I don't think that's the same. No, that's different than 7 sacraments. Oh well. They said my brain is rotted through and irreversibly. Yeah.
Welcome back to a TikTok series that legitimately gave me a nightmare last night. I'll be your host, who's here to disappoint her mother and God only.
Cool.
Here's a fanfic that legitimately changed the way AO3 operates. This is the reason there's a tag limit on fanfics. It just keeps going. We're not...
Again, casting that net. It probably wasn't a story that involved all this, unless it's like 100 chapters.
At the end. I don't think I've spoken this many words ever. Holy shit. Now,
Quiet people problems.
for 2 Wattpad editions that legitimately made me ask, is this a vor thing?
A vor? Just something
If you're ever in
fun.
a part of your life where you find yourself asking the question, is this a vor thing?
No idea what vor
Restart.
is.
Run into the woods, cut off all friends and family, and restart your life. There's no going back. Proving a theory many have had for a very long time.
I guess it's a scary thing. Oh man, it's Sesame Street and Harry Potter, and it has Elmo with Draco as a couple, and oh man.
If it exists, there's Harry Potter crossover fanfiction wagon.
My gosh, that sounds so wild. Like, I'd love if somebody reacted to that. Oh man.
It's Draco, Malfoy, and Elmo. Yay.
I feel like if I ever wrote anything like that, it would be the troll. Like, I don't think people who write that actually, genuinely want to see that. Maybe, but I think that's more likely a troll.
Tag, right here, my 13th reason. Now I'm glad fanfic.net's days are numbered for
13 reasons why reference, probably.
several reasons. One of which being it will bury my old account that I legitimately published things under and no longer have access to, so I can't delete them. 2, this will stop existing. I don't generally like going after the actual fanfic portion because some of the tags will be
Like, she has a romance between Jesus and Hitler. Oh boy. I don't know, and it's got 1,900 comments. I don't know, if you really explored, the bad of Hitler and you, had Jesus just, endlessly talking him through why this shit is bad, why, why acting like he did, why making the decisions he did was bad. I'm trying not to get cut out by YouTube, but, if you talk to Jesus, you had a real coming to Jesus moment and it actually turned into romance, and it's like, oh wow, it could be about that. I don't know, but yeah, fun shit.
punches to the gut, but it's still something someone wrote and put out onto the internet. Good for you. But this is weird, right? I'm not...
Oh, so she didn't write it, I guess, somebody else did. I don't know how they feel about it, but...
Jesus was Jewish, guys.
Again, all the more, come to Jesus moment. I've always wondered, hell doesn't exist, so I imagine, Catholicism believes if you didn't make it into heaven, you just died. You just, didn't exist, so I guess there's a very high probability that Hitler now just doesn't exist, which is a great thing, because, I'm Catholic, and, I believe in Jesus, and, maybe he, was, I don't know. Maybe he did have a long ass conversation with Jesus, and maybe, you know, he didn't die, but like, that's a huge, you know, that's a huge bridge that would have had to be crossed there. So, I don't know, you know, like, I don't want people to die, but like, if you can't realize the wrong of your ways, like, that might have been what happened. I don't know. But yeah. Like,
I want mommy.
when I get back from a business trip.
I want milk. I want to be held. I want to be comforted.
I just really wish that in the year 2022 we could just like get over the stigma of Omegas scent marking their alphas. He's been gone a while. His Omega's obviously needy.
I never wrote like straight up Omega Alpha stuff. Yeah, like, I don't know. If I wrote romances, be more subtle, like, and more, I don't know, less kinky, I guess. But yeah, you know, you do your thing. Like, I don't know, people just like writing this type of stuff. Like, I think it's like a fantasy power trip, or, you know, submissive fantasy kind of thing that inspires people to write this stuff. Or like they know it's popular and just write about it. This says, just thinking about all the fanfics I've lost to time, relatable, the ones that's like whether you know, whether I've wrote it and just sort of like stopped writing it out of like burnout or lack of like interest in the audience, or lack of my own ideas. Yeah, I relate to that. Just thinking about all the fanfics I've lost to time, the ones that stopped updating, either because there weren't enough reviews coming in, or they're burnt out and didn't have any other ideas, or, you know, those kind of things. The ones that were deleted, you know, same. The ones that I forgot to bookmark and never found again. Like, people might delete their fanfic, kind of like one of the last fanfics TikToks were saying, like, if, you know, if they felt ashamed of it. I've read really good shit that, like, the author then, like, makes an author note, like, oh yeah, I'm really ashamed of what I wrote at this time in my life, so I'm just deleting everything. I'm like, no! This was actually good! But, yeah. The ones that I forgot to bookmark and never found again, yeah, that's definitely happened. I should have gotten better at bookmarking fanfics, because there are definitely some interesting ones that I'd love to have written. I'd love to have like read, because like there's the Sakurai Exitachi one that seemed, you know, fairly interesting, like well written, but I only read a couple of paragraphs and then I had to go, and then I never found it again, which sucked. But the ones I read in my youth and only remember the joy of they gave me and not the plot. Yeah, I usually remember the plot. I can't relate to that one. Whew. I'm not sure if people like their reactions is wordy. We'll see. This one says, me to the author of the fic I read last night for featuring untagged major character. Why is that a...
Children answer for your crimes. I hope this burdens your family now.
Why? I don't know. Do you not like the character? Me at 13 years old, reading that the fanfic author has decided to make the fic multi-fandom.
Share and smash it across her fucking face.
You know, bringing in other shows or, you know, properties into a fic can be good or bad. Like, I agree, I didn't like the idea usually, but like sometimes they could prove that it was a good change. But again, maybe it's my autistic brain, but like mixing in like different fandoms, you know, just felt like, why are you doing this? You know, don't mix your peas with potatoes. That's actually good. Peas mixed with potatoes is good, but like, don't do, I don't know, you know, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of my autistic manifestation was like very subtle shit like that.
Fanfiction can be better
Maybe I'm being too personal here, I'm sorry, but yeah.
than original media in the sense that it can fully engage with the character and complete an arc in an emotionally cathartic way that genre conventions and production expectations can never fully allow for in canon.
Yeah, like, kind of same with, like, I don't know, like, with anime especially, if it was, like, unable to get as many episodes as it should have, and, like, you know, or, like, the characters that people liked weren't developed nearly enough, you know, which happens in a lot of anime, and, like, you know, I definitely relate with this TikTok, where she's saying, like, yeah, like, there are a lot of, like, properties that just don't have the character development or closing for certain characters that, would really work, but, like, you know, maybe the genre doesn't allow it or whatever, and yeah, like, you know, like, you're trying to, like, if you wanted to, like, expand on the romance, but it's mostly an action show or whatever, but yeah, like, my inspiration was always, like, exploring those kind of, like, you know, left out connections, and, like, yeah, definitely relate to this.
In many ways, fanfiction fully is only engaged in the personality of a character, in the character of the character, and is fully disregarding the plot, and that can be so much more interesting. But in some ways, fanfiction can also be better than canon in the sense that it just feels good to mash your Barbie dolls together before throwing them out the window. And both are important and valuable.
Yeah, writing catharsis, you know, being able to, you know, do different shit with characters that you just want to get out of your system. You just thought about it, you just want to get out of your system.
Valid ways to engage with media.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My AO3 of Wattpad history, God, trying to get to heaven. I don't know. Yeah, like, I think God is chill, y'all. Like, I don't think he's, like, I think, like, the super Puritan, or, like, you know, not Puritan maybe, but, like, the super bourgeois, like, clean society of, like, the 1600s, you know, decided to repaint God into this, like, you know, like, pure, you know, you can't do all this dirty shit, which probably wasn't specified in the original Bible, or at least, like, you know, when it was, like, being established. Like, it's just stuff that, like, you know, it was, that, like, the bourgeois, or, like, royal class threw in to, like, control the people later on. So, all that to say, I don't think God would care that much about your AO3 or Wattpad history. But, yeah, cute joke, whatever.
What's this? Huh? What's this?
When you remember what you're reading fanfic, that you're reading fanfic and the canon is actually bad, yeah.
Oops, I accidentally created a false reality.
Yeah. Or, you know, like, the canon, like, you just don't like how the canon pans out, and you actually like, you know, the fanfic that people write, and you just want that to be the reality. Like, you just want that to be animated or acted out, you know, so you could, like, fully experience it. Yeah.
I'm out of here.
I mean, that's why a lot of fanfic is written to, like, explore kind of, like, what the anime or show did not. So, yeah. This one says, my soul and personality leaving my body whenever I read an ex-reader story because I hardly see Your Name Is Me anymore. Yeah, same. And she's a total separate person. I could never really see... Yeah, like, because, like, starting with, like, how they dress the person, like, if it's really not, like, what I did, I'm just, like, how I dress, I'd be taken out, too, from the experience.
why we need Omega rights. Because Omegas cannot control when they get their heats, obviously. And yet they're still expected to go on about their days as if though nothing is happening. Omega rights
I don't
and
get
Omega
this
rights
stuff.
now.
I don't get Omegas. I don't get it. Me writing a fanfic that belongs on 2006 live channels in the year of our Lord 2022. CC, look at this point. I'm just trying to be cringe that I want to see. I mean, I am an old soul. I can relate to, you know, writing like early 2000s as shit even today. So.
In life, I'm just trying to be the cringe that I want to see in this world.
Yeah. POV, you get pushed into a dance circle, but you only read mafia stories on Wattpad. Yeah, we writers are not the best in social situations. Lol. Lol. I've done wacky shit like that on the dance floor, not knowing how to dance, and it, like, people went crazy. Like, that happened once, and I'm like, whoa.
What if you had no friends, no family, no girlfriend, bad grades, and were an absolute loser?
Ouch. No. I think most writers aren't like that, actually. You know, some are, and, like, or, you know, some have a decent life and just, like, spend maybe, you know, a huge chunk of their time still, like, writing fanfiction, but they overall still have lives, even if they, you know, swear up and down they don't. So, I don't think most people are like that who write fanfiction. I'm a little closer to that, but, you know, I've stopped then, and even back then, I mean, I spent a lot of time away from my computer, like, imagining more fanfiction, because I didn't make friends easily, so kind of right, but not totally. Wikipedia begging for 3 years for a single dollar. Yeah. Yeah, AO3 is just like, I don't know, I guess fanfiction's really powerful. Like, Wikipedia has helped people way more, but AO3, I mean, people gotta have that catharsis of, like, their stories, whether they're reading, whether they're writing, you know, they just gotta have, like, it creates communities. So, like, you know, a good fic, you know, creates kind of, like, bonds, like, parasocial bonds with like, the person writing and, you know, the people commenting, you know. So, like, you know, people remember and talk about these stories, and, like, do they have forums? But, you know, yeah, AO3, I'm sure a lot of online communities could, you know, create something like that, but, yeah, obviously Wikipedia, you know, actually did raise a lot of money, and, you know, enough money to keep themselves running in there. They just didn't show how much money they made, but I'm sure they made a lot of money. I like that person's style, by the way. It's like a t-shirt and then, like, plaid pants. Plaid pants are the best. I'm sure they're living their life. Anyway, this person says, what are the best tags to find on fanfics?
The most sexy holiday is the 4th of July. Independence Day, obviously. Women's History Month. And Christmas.
None of those, like, struck me as super interesting, but you do you. And, yeah, like, I'm not sure how much research people do as far as, like, what actually, you know, has, like, a lot of, like, support. Like, I think fanfic is something where people, just write what they want to and don't really do the kind of research, say, YouTubers would, to find out, like, what's popular and cater to that. And, you know, that, you know, like, since fan fiction writers are usually not making money from it, you know, it doesn't really matter to, you know, look at what people like. So,
reading more fanfiction authors' notes.so.
Well, This is so 2007, and I totally relate to it, and I found that, you know, it humanized the authors when they wrote something like this. I didn't, you know, like, I stopped reading fanfics before people talked about becoming a blank YouTuber.
COVID tried, but I'm not dead, and I'm getting everyone's problem.
Lol.
Besides people, apologies in advance. Basically mashing up wiki pages, stories, bachelor's bullshit, projectile bombing.
Yeah, like, when people want to write sci-fi or things that involve science in some way, and, like, they don't want to fully understand it because, like, they have an idea already and they don't want crummy science getting in the way. And yeah, like, and also with the past notes, I mean, even if authors feel burnt out, like, they still have a passion for, like, their writings, so, you know, yeah, like, good on them.
It occurs to me reading all your comments over the last few chapters that the fact that I wrote the back half of this fic while listening to a Titanic soundtrack on a loop might have impacted the tone more than I realized.
I mean, I'm all for melodrama, okay? I know a huge amount of people dislike it, but I will say, I will remind writers that there is an audience for your melodramatic shit, alright? And I probably wrote pretty melodramatically, to the point where I cringed at times, but two characters get in the middle of getting it on in a fanfic, yeah. The third character is never supposed to find out lucky. I never read fanfiction like this. Certainly never wrote it, but yeah, that's NTR shit, I think, and no.
Oh my god!
Me finding out fanfic at 12 years old.
I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving. I'm in this shit forever.
Yeah, I think, you know, that was kind of how I reacted, but more subtly, like, yeah, you know, this is cool shit. Like, actually, yeah, I think I was super excited. Like, I wanted to read all the Zatchbell fanfiction, because that was just my autistic special interest at the time.
What are the most sexy holidays? The most sexy holiday is the 4th of July. Independence Day.
AU's great. Soulmates are great. Herd Comfort is amazing. It's, like, Herd Comfort, I think, is probably going to be my favorite now. And Enemies to Lovers, it depends, but yeah.
And the best part of this plan is...
Me on my way to read the most...
Hi, I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, and
I was more vanilla, so, you know, if something was super deprived, it would be like, probably not my cup of tea. You know, I'm not trying to be rebellious here. I'm just looking for something I genuinely like. But people like the deprived shit, so good on them. This one says, me making a video about the severe lack of compelling female characters in some areas of fanfic. I don't care. If your characters are good, I don't care what gender they are. Like, you know, I just am not about to, like, bring feminism into fucking art. Like, where I'm, like, critiquing the choices that other artists make, man. I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, they're saying, yeah, that's what they said.
Hosting SNL this week with Camila Cabello. Gyllenhaal, your name is pronounced Gillen. I guarantee you it is...
What did it say? Someone commenting, it's just so hard to find and then write good female characters.
I guarantee you it is not.
Two of my friends having a normal conversation. Me about to completely ruin it by bringing up deranged fanfic. I would just keep that shit to myself, because I might be autistic, but I could, you know, I knew well enough that, oh, you know, this thing is probably not something people want to, you know, talk about. Not always. I, like, have my moments, but yeah, usually I just didn't, you know. But again, you know, if people want to talk about even your deranged shit, that's a sign of a good writer. I think that's it. Yeah, sorry if this ended up really long. Hope you somehow still enjoyed it. Bye-bye. Oh, and this is TikToks for fanfic readers, December 6th, made by Thanos Stan. See you later. Let me know what you thought. Like and subscribe if you like that. If you have suggestions for content or like how I can improve my videos, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you.